Greetings, family. This is Kyle Dixon here for another video. Now, I just did a previous video not too long ago dealing with black men's self-care. This video is dealing with black men as far as self-love and the difference between the two. Because some people think maybe self-care is self-love, and that's part of it. But it's not the total dynamic of loving self in a way of cultivating love for long-lasting, positive, healthy, conducive, growth-oriented relationships. So let's jump into it, right? So I read this article in reference of self-love, and it starts to break down the definitions of love. One of the definitions of love is affection and tenderness that's felt by lovers, affection based on common interest and admiration, loyal concern for the good of someone, and that's the one that I think that's more in tune to what I want to talk about today. Is about concern for the good of someone, and that someone is you. You know, a lot of times, unfortunately, sometimes as men or as people, we don't like ourselves, and because of that, our love for our care and concern wanes or is not even there. You know, we start to do certain things that goes against our better judgment and our health and wellness. So the four groups that I want to talk about today in categorization of self-love are emotional health, physical health, mental health, and spiritual health. So those four, what I have come to find out, they call mood groups, right? Mood groups, right? MOOD, right? Not food groups, mood groups. So the emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical health of a person, of a man, is important. If one of those is lacking, that means there's no balance, right? And we're always seeking balance, right? Certain people's balance is different than other people's, but we're always seeking balance within our psyche, within our whole self, so that way we can go out and be of care and concern for the people that we love, family, friends, children, neighbors, uh, constituents, or however you want to use your energy and time. So let's jump into it, right? Because again, when we talk about self-love, you know, it begs to the question of why do we have to talk about self-love? Well, again, a lot of us aren't feeling like we like ourselves, right? And because of that, we beat up on ourselves. We're very aggressive with ourselves. You know, one of the things is, you know, some of the things that we say to ourselves in our mental, in our minds, that if someone was actually speaking to us and said those things, we would want to fight them. Unfortunately, some people may want to even do physical harm, even death, right? So we say these things to ourselves and we beat up on ourselves because that's where we've been trained to feel like we need to motivate ourselves or get ourselves out of the rut, out of the mire, out of the negative space of depression or fear. And that's not always the case. And again, you can do certain things. You can exercise, you can eat a little better. Let's say if you have trouble speaking, you can get a speech coach. You can take a speech class online or in person. Let's say if you're not the best dresser, you can find someone who's into fashion, hire someone or a friend who you admire their style, and they can help you pick out certain clothes. You can even go to certain stores and ask the patrons there to help you pick out certain outfits. You know, again, it depends on how you want to take advantage of certain things around you if you're aware. But let's start with the physical health, physical self-love. Let's start with that. So with the physical self-love, one thing you can definitely do is get some sleep. They say that typically the average American only sleeps maybe about 5 to 6 hours per night, which is not good. I remember I saw a video when Kobe talked about he wasn't getting enough sleep in his early years in the NBA. And then as he got older, he said, no, I definitely need my sleep because my body needs to recharge, it needs to regenerate. And when you're sleeping, that's what your body's doing. It's even emptying out these proteins in your brain that accumulate that if over time, if you don't get enough sleep, they will continue to accumulate and over accumulate and create brain diseases like dementia or forms of dementia, Alzheimer's, and other definite deterioration of the brain cells, deterioration of the glands in the brain. So you want to definitely get enough sleep. Eat a good diet. We talked about that before in my previous video. Get in a balanced diet. You want to eat more leafy green vegetables. Even if you still eat meat, that's up to you, but you still want to get a lot more vegetables in your diet, especially because as Black men, we tend to suffer from lack of certain minerals, magnesium, zinc, and things as we get older. So just be mindful of your diet and just know how to say no sometimes. Sometimes, you don't need that, that big ass steak. You don't need it, right? Maybe you just need a little cut of it, and then with some vegetables on the side. So I'm not saying don't eat those things. I'm just saying eat more of something else, so that way you eat less of the things that are actually doing you harm. It may taste good, but it might be good for you. Of course, exercise, and on top of that, you want to exercise, light exercise, going for walks. You don't have to run and go to the gym and be all buff and pushing weights all around, but just going for walks every day out in the sun, or like after work, or in the mornings. Those help a lot. Because it gets the body moving. The body's meant to move, not to be sedentary, sitting down all the time. So you got to get moving. You got to get moving, and that helps your mood too. That actually help. They actually have done many studies where walking and exercise, it helps boost the endorphins in your body. That's that feel good chemical that people go to for alcohol, sex, certain foods, and it induces that in the body and gives you more energy. Again, look up mitochondria. Your mitochondria is the energy source in your cells, and it helps to boost those. So definitely take heed of it. Personal hygiene, we talk about that in the first video. Just take care of yourself. I got my cut. I had to get my cut, and just basically just be mindful of who you are, where you're at, and how you present yourself. Again, drinking water, hydration. The body's over 70% water. Drinking water, that's physical love, right? That's love for self. You gotta stay hydrated, right? Not juice, not sports drinks, not teas, but just straight water, like literally water. If you gotta go for the teas, great. If you gotta get it through maybe juice here and there, I would say water down the juice, but water, just plain old water, is perfect, right? And again, you should. They say you should drink half your body weight in ounces of water. So if you're 200 pounds, you should at least be drinking 100 ounces of water every day. Now, if you don't drink it, you can eat it too. That's another thing people don't say. You can eat your water. So melons, if you eat melons, they have a lot of water in them. So that's part of your water intake. Cucumbers, part of the melon family, water intake. Berries, water intake. Uh, Lemons, limes, and oranges, and grapefruit, citrus, water intake. So again, if you don't not like to drink your water all the time, you can, what they say, eat your water, structure water, right? Again, get out in nature, right? Get out in nature. Get amongst the trees, the plants, breathe that fresh air. Even if you live in a major city like myself, you can go to parks. People go to parks all the time. Find a park in your neighborhood, in your area, and go be amongst the trees. Sit down, take a breath, right? And then of course, nothing like a good physical touch, hugs. You know what I'm saying? Hugs, or just being around people that you care about. That's great. You know what I'm saying? But like, hugs, kisses, all that good stuff. From people that are in your close knit circle. Those are always things. Also, like just being able to be able to smile and laugh too. Just being able to enjoy things, listening to people tell funny jokes, comedians. I love comedians. Um, and also just finding the joy in life to laugh about something. Don't take yourself so serious. There are serious things that we definitely need to approach with very precise and exact information and an attitude, of being very important. But then there are some times when we just need to just smile and laugh, and it's okay to do that, right? So let's go into the mental, right? The mental, very important, because the mental controls everything. Okay. So one of the things you can definitely do is read. I like to read. They say millionaires read about 2 to 3 books a month. But even if you want to be a millionaire, reading just helps keep your brain nimble. You learn new words, new phrases. You're able to escape in books, right? You may be living in a not so good situation, but the book will help you escape, whether it be a fiction, nonfiction, self-help, religious, whatever topic or title or genre that you're interested in. Read. Reading is fundamental. Readers are leaders, right? Readers are leaders. So don't matter if you read slow, don't matter if you read fast. Y'all don't care if you even read comic books. Those are great. Read regularly. It helps the brain connectivity. It increases comprehension of vocabulary. Also, again, it gives you more stories to be able to associate with people, to be able to talk to people, and connect. Right? Reading is good for just connecting with other people in other situations. Crossword puzzles, and certain puzzles and games are great. They have games online, brain games. Puzzles, again, they help with keeping your brain active. right? Keeping it sharp, keeping your mental sharp, and thinking of things outside of how you would normally think about them. So those are always good, right? Also, like meditation. Meditation is good as well. We talked about that in the previous video. So just these things of simple things you don't even have to buy. Meditation, just sit quiet, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you feel is comfortable for you. Again, you can just sit in a chair straight up, or you can cross your legs, you can bend your legs, whatever's comfortable, right? I wouldn't say lay down because you might fall asleep, but even if you do fall asleep, you know, if it's a concentrated thought while you're falling asleep, that even works too, right? That's happened to me many times. That's what I'm saying. Don't lay down. All right. So the emotional self, right? We get into the emotions self, right? Emotional wherewithal, especially us as men, we have a hard time expressing our emotions outside of the major three: sad, mad, and glad. Right? Somebody ask you how you doing, you be like, I'm upset, or I'm sad, or I'm mad, or I'm happy, glad. Right? We have more than three emotions, but those are the major ones that a lot of men fall prey to because our emotional vocabulary is weak. But I would say to help do that, I would say create a gratitude list. Each day, each week, each month, just create a gratitude list of things you're grateful for, right? Simple things. You may have a nice place, a nice house or apartment or some sort. Be grateful for that. You may have a lot of clothing and shoes to wear. Be grateful for that. You may have a loving family. Be grateful for that. You may not have any ailments. Be grateful. Small things, right? The small things that we don't think about. Um, just even having clean water, having running water to be able to cleanse yourself, shower. Like people don't really think about how big these things are, how simple, but how important they are in our daily lives, right? And just be able to put the feelings into words. If you're feeling confused, if you're feeling rejected, if you're feeling even ecstatic, if you're feeling excited, say it. Find the words that of what you're feeling in the moment and write it down. Look for it and write it down, right? Because if you're confused and you're scared, that's normal, right? Now, again, depending on the situation, you may need to call on other emotions, but if you're feeling that in the moment, that's your truth. That's your truth, and be able to express that, right? And also in expressing that, try to always choose positive. That doesn't mean to be fake. That means to say that as I am in a negative space or I am feeling negative, right? You say, well, after I feel negative, I want to feel positive as well. Just as much as I can turn on the negative, you can turn on the positive in your life, in your emotional psyche, and even in the moment. If you're conscious of it, you have to be conscious of it. And that comes from that emotional vocabulary to say, like, well, I was confused, but now I'm confident because I got clarification on this problem. So now I'm much better and be able to express that, right? And it's not always going to come out now it's gonna come out as clean and as easy as you think. But starting that now is very, very important. So now we go into the spiritual, the last part, right? So whether you're religious or spiritual, make time for prayer, right? Make time for prayer and being alone. That's where the kind of meditation comes in as well. Make time for that because that's you taking time for yourself to talk to yourself and talk to that spiritual energy, those energies that are above that. Not we're not saying they're above us, but they are bigger and they are more expansive than our knowing is. Right. So take time for prayer and ask and be grateful for what you have, and also ask for clarity, right? Ask for clarity. Ask for certain things that you feel like, okay, I need to do this. Give me the energy to do it. Because just because you asking doesn't mean you'll get it, but asking plus the action, right? The prayer plus action is what helps the prayer to work, right? You just can't sit there and just expect something to happen. Something might happen, but it might not be exactly what you want. So in the prayer, you got to have action behind that. Go to a religious center, religious spiritual center. Be around other people who are spiritual, religious, in whatever you practice, because that fellowship is important. That camaraderie, as they say as well, is important because you need people of like-minded to be able to bounce ideas off of and get that support in a community. That is very, very important to build that spiritual and practice those things. And again, it doesn't matter if you're spiritual or religious, but again, there are certain things that you can certain ideas and certain lessons that you can go to in scriptures, in lessons, uh, in teachings that will help you in your daily life. I use them, right? I know many of my friends who are in religious or spiritual systems, they use them, and that's why they're there for, because there are people that have lived thousands of years before us that have gone through similar things, not the same, but similar things that can have they can have solutions to whatever your current day problems are, or at least they can give you ideas on how to solve the current day problem. Because not all the problems that exist now, I believe, were not uh, back in the old times, right? The ancient times. Because of certain dynamics now, these are not necessarily all new problems, but the dynamic in which the problems are created or have manifested and continue to progress may not be exactly the same, but I'm sure there's a teaching that adheres to whatever particular situation you're in, and that comes with not only you, but that also comes through community as well. So, brothers, this is a short video. And if you have any suggestions, definitely put comments down below. Uh, Definitely like, share, subscribe this to other brothers, because sharing is caring, and we're trying to create a community, reconnecting the community for other brothers to be able to share these uh, tidbits of solutions, these reminders, so that we can help each other be our best, and we can be our best as one. So I appreciate your time. Again, like, share, subscribe, and much love to y'all on your journey, and much blessings to you. We'll talk soon. Peace.